Here's the stove. I just started with the fire piston. You can see that it's going pretty well now. I had some pine needles in there and some fine twigs. What's different about this stove is that it's a rocket stove, which is nothing unusual. It's made out of adobe and lined with insulating material of clay and sawdust. And that insulating layer is very important. That makes a big difference. The main thing about this stove that's a little bit different is that I have a vertical feed, and there are vertical feed rockets that have been made, but usually they're not used for cooking. This one I'm using for cooking, and I like it because, for several reasons, it is very easy to feed. You don't have to bend over so much. You can stand up and poke stuff down in there, and that's probably the biggest reason that I like it. You can also see the fire just standing up and looking down. You have to get down on your hands and knees and look in there to see the fire, so it's very easy. And you get a bed of coals in there, and you put the wood down into that bed of coals, and it flares up almost immediately. Ideally, it would self-feed. As the wood burned, it would get weak and fall down. And I have found that that doesn't necessarily work in practice as well as you might hope. But in experimenting with it, I have found that if you split the wood, like this piece of wood here is a split-off piece, then it tends to bend as it burns, and then it breaks and falls down. Unsplit wood, round twigs, you generally have to give them a little poke, in my experience. But the split stuff, you can put that in there, and it will quite often self-feed quite nicely, which is very handy too. So that's another reason to like it. But it's a fairly simple thing. Obviously this isn't quite vertical. If you look at it, it's going at a slight angle. But it's been a nice little stove, and simple to make out of adobe and everything, and much easier to use, I think, because of the way you don't have to bend over to feed stuff into it all the time and to tend it. And when you have the when it's self-feeding nicely by itself, then that's even better. You don't have to tend it nearly as much.